Sitting on top of Pool B will be Gen.G, who is our next team up for our 32 videos for 32 team series. And I had a chance to sit down and talk very briefly with JoeyNubzy, the head coach of Gen.G. So what expectations does he have, and what expectations do I have for this Gen.G team for Pool B and beyond? Well, we'll find out. Coming right up. What up, COD fans? Welcome back. IHOLDSHIFT with you guys. We've got our 32 videos on 32 teams special. Calling it a special. It's not going to feel very special by the 30-second video if you end up watching every single one of them. I know I'm going to be feeling a little bit drained. That's okay. The grind keeps on. Let's talk Gen.G, a team that has finished now twice at second place overall in the last two events. That's not obviously what you want if you're sitting there as a Gen.G fan or, of course, a player or someone else related with the organization. But again, maybe they can find some magic with the United spell of lose two, win the third. Who knows? Very well could be the case. Let's take a look, though, very quickly at Pool B as far as what Gen.G will be dealing with. They've got Enigma 6 in their draw, as well as Team War. And then beyond that, they've got Fuego. And I will say just candidly that JoeyNubzy had some candid words to share about the difficulty of his pool. I don't know if I 100% share the same sentiments, but I could get where he's coming from. Let's go ahead and just take a look very quickly at Gen.G in specific. This is a team that has been dealing with a very interesting regular season. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. They started off as the S&D gods after they took Spacely out of the mix and brought Nagafin in, and Envoy was the sub as well. Then the very early parts of the season, they went like, what, 12-1 at one point in time, but were lacking in the hard point and the control. We'd get past that search and destroy hump. They would go to Fort Worth and London and be incredible at hardpoint and pretty decent at control. And not very good at search. It's really, really interesting to see. They went a total of 9-2 at hardpoint when they were at Fort Worth, and then they went 7-2 when they were at London in the hardpoint. Meanwhile, at those events, they went 4-6 in search and destroy and 4-3 in search and destroy, respectively. They would then start to bounce back. Anaheim, not so great at hardpoint, great at search and destroy. 4-9 in hardpoint, 7-3 in search and destroy. They also brought up a 6-2 on control. And then, of course, at Miami, back to hardpoint we go. 7-4 in the hardpoint, 5-3 in the search, 4-3 in the control. So you take a look at some of their placements over this entirety of the season. They were, of course, a team that came out of the PLQ successfully so as Team Space. Then they finished top 8 at Fort Worth, got better, top 6 at London, and then they were able to finish second at Anaheim after being, let's be honest, pretty blown out by 100 Thieves in the finals. And then second at Miami after they were beat by United, came back and beat them in the first best of 5, lost them in the second best of 5. And, you know, a lot of controversy about the controller issue and restarts and things of that nature. But you take a look at their overall map mode statistics. Pretty honestly good statistics here. 48-36 in the hardpoint, 41-22 in the search, 29-20 in the control. As far as overall what that means for them, Gen.G at a plus nearly 16 differential is sitting only in the top half really of hardpoint teams out there when it comes to the score average that they pull. But again, the 48-36 is good enough for right around second or third as far as being the best hardpoint team in the game. Really only sitting behind 100 Thieves, who are 59-16. Just technically below them are United at 47-32. So one more win, but 4 more losses. You take your pick as far as who's the better team there. And then their search and destroy, they're actually one of the best search teams still out there at 41-22. United is the only team who's really close with them, and technically Gen.G hold the better average. So technically this is, in my book, the best search and destroy team that's currently out there. Again, United's been in there and they've been hot lately, but again, that 12-1 start really does magic for you. Going to the control, this is where things get interesting because they're only 29-20, but honestly, you take a look at the win-loss ratios across the entirety of the CWL, that's good enough for second best. Outside of 100 Thieves, who are 34-14, the only teams that are close to them are the 28-17 of FaZe Clan and the 27-21 of the United. So Gen.G quietly are sitting in a spot where they might be the second best control team in the game. I don't know. I'm a little bit baffled by that as well. Taking a look at, of course, one of their big star players, you can't go without talking about Gen.G without talking about Envoy. He, of course, being a pickup and moved after everything was going through the PLQ, gets moved into Gen.G, put on the starting roster. SMG God, 1.17 overall rating based on the stats from codstats.gg, and that's also good enough for a 1.15 overall KD ratio throughout their entirety of the Pro League. And that's just the regular season. I didn't have the time to go back and combine everybody as far as everything going on, with, all the statistics. That would have been way too much effort to be putting in. So didn't get a chance to do that, but I did get a chance to talk with JoeyNubzy. Let's see what he had to say on our segment of You Have My Attention. We're here with JoeyNubzy, head coach, and a lot of people would say made attraction for Gen.G, as we'll be dealing with, obviously, the team sitting here in Pool B. So you have my attention, sir. You guys got drawn up the pools with Enigma 6, Team War, and Fuego. What are some initial thoughts as far as those 4 teams as a whole?
I think our pool is really strong. I think it's probably out of like the concoction, I guess, of all the teams we could have gotten in our pool, this one's probably going to end up being the most competitive. I think Pool H as a whole is probably the most competitive one, just because all those teams are, no like superstar team in there, but they're all kind of neck and neck, and I think all those teams have potential to upset. But other than that, I think our pool is probably the best one. I think it has the best mixture of teams with some, players that have won before on the amateur side with like Mad Cat, and War looked really, really strong at the event. I actually thought they could have easily won that in open. And E6, E6 is always a team that looks strong. Like they can just upset anyone, and not even upset. I feel like they could be a favorite going into a lot of matches. I'm excited for our pool.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Enigma 6, because it seems weird that they were a top 16 finisher technically for Miami. Just, again, luck of the draw as far as what their play-in bracket went, and obviously having a couple of top 6 finishes, a couple of less than stellar finishes, but a roster that seems to be finding its stride after Anaheim, going through Miami, and then hopefully, for them, they're looking to obviously make some surprises as far as things go in the pools at Champs. But you hit on a very interesting point with Team War in specific, because this is a team that went 2 best-of-5s in the Grand Finals, a very dominating run up until they came up against the boys, and you mentioned a lot of the powerhouse there, Josh and Dave in specific, but even Defrag, PD, and Vortex all have PLQ kind of experience, and obviously pro experience behind that. So as far as you guys in specific for Gen.G, there's been a lot of, conversation regarding the roster as far as what you guys decided to take Miami. Obviously, it paid off pretty nicely for you guys finishing second. Could you speak a little bit more to, the differences between Nagafin and Spacely and what the choice was going into, keeping Nagafin as the main starter?
Yeah, sure. So going into Anaheim, obviously we have the same roster with Nagafin, Jared. With that roster, we ended up placing second there. It was a good second place finish, as about as good as you can have from it. I don't think we really had any potential to do worse, to be honest. I think
sure.
we were put in a position to where we knew the matches we had going in were gonna be pretty good. We felt confident at that event. Past Anaheim though, we have that Pro League, the last split across division. We decide that our team could stand to try something different, bring Spacely in, and yes, we went 4-0. It's all the conversation we've had in the past. Went 4-0 with him. It was a good week. We had to kind of step back, evaluate all of our options, think about what we needed for these last 2 events. Ended up bringing Nagafin back in. He just works well with the system we have in place. He knows what everyone's doing on the map at all times. We all know what to expect out of Jared, what he's gonna do, what he's gonna bring vocally.
Right.
So we bring him back in. We get second place at Miami, which we still feel easily could have been a first place finish. Obviously things didn't go our way there, but third time is the charm, hopefully, for champs.
Yeah, United's able to do it, so why not you guys, right? A couple of things just to hit on where Gen.G started this season versus how you're kind of rounding things out. Gen.G kind of started as, the team that would lose the first map, win the next 3, and that during that time you guys had that insane S&D run, and then the tides kind of flipped a little bit. Hardpoint became one of your strongest modes as you got through Fort Worth and London, but then things kind of crept back up to being your search and destroy. So kind of tell you a little bit about the polarity between the start of the season versus how you guys are feeling near the end of the season here.
Right, so we've actually had, we take like these 1.5 month periods where we're the best team in like a certain game mode. So for obviously the beginning of the season, like you said, it was search and destroy. We had like this stellar S&D record in Pro League. It looked really strong throughout, Fort Worth, it looked good. And then sort of London area, we got worse at S&D and kind of worse at control. We got really good at hardpoint, like 7-2 or something.
Yeah.
And then and then somewhere in that middle, in that mixture, where we went 2-5 in our league split, we were just bad at all of them. And then, and then we got really good at control. And then this last event, we looked really good at hardpoint and really good at S&D and really average at control. So our team in general has been like kind of this roller coaster of consistency, and that's something that we'll always take criticism on. We know that we have some consistency issues. I think something that helped us a lot this season is everyone was able to grow up really fast. We have dealt with a lot this season, just, backlash in the community. Not unexpected backlash either. We understand why people probably hate us, but I say grow up fast because we've had to deal with some reverse sweeps, some dream-crushing losses, 2 grand final losses now. Everyone's really had an opportunity to work on their composure and just grow as players, and I think rounding out this year with champs, it's just like everything's just boiling up. It's come down to this. So I think champs is going to be a good time for us. It's just the way our season's gone.
Right.
We kept saying this thing. We kept saying this thing at Miami every time, because that event was really weird for us. There were a lot of things that happened with us at that event that doesn't even get talked about or anything like that, because we're not even going to waste our breath. But some things that we just like had to deal with there. And every time something weird would happen, whether it was a map replay or a lack of a map replay, we would just say it's just a part of the story. Like, it just makes the story better. And I think champs is going to be a good way to close that story out.
Well, hopefully it's a happy ending for you guys. Again, maybe that third time is in fact the charm, and we can add that as one of those Maven stats towards next year. You lose 2, you win the last one. It's the way it goes. Joey, thank you so much for joining me. A pleasure having you guys. Of course, best of luck not only to you guys in pools, but obviously trying to extend the tournament beyond that to possibly a world championship. Really appreciate you having me with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Again, a huge shout out and thank you to JoeyNubzy for taking the time to stop with me and just chat generally about Gen.G and, of course, what they're looking forward to in their Pool B and beyond. Of course, he's very optimistic about potentially finding a championship, and why shouldn't he be? Again, one of the best search and destroy teams, one of the best control teams, and we've seen what they've been able to do in Hardpoint. If they can put all of those things together and just have one consistent week of Call of Duty, I think it's very possible that they're able to find themselves a world championship. Hell, they were very close to winning one at Miami, and they were in the mix at Anaheim. So there's a lot of things going forward for Gen.G. Again, just a recap of what they're doing in Pool A. They'll be going up against Enigma 6, Team War, and Fuego. I don't see them having nearly as much of an issue with the teams. Joey is giving a lot of respect to the teams that are in there, especially a lot of the individual players. But as far as the full team forces go, Enigma 6, definitely I agree with him, is the hardest opponent coming out of the top 16 poll from the CWL. But I still have faith that Gen.G will be able to make it through and be that team that finishes #1 overall. I've got them going 3-0, although I think, again, like he mentioned, Enigma 6 will be a very close one. I think Team War can give up an effort. I'm not feeling nearly as optimistic about Fuego, but hey, such is life. That's the way it goes. Opinions are opinions. You heard it from him first. That's going to do it for our Gen.G video. Again, we're doing 32 videos on 32 teams. If you enjoyed that content, make sure you subscribe to see when those notifications pop up for when my videos do go live, because they're becoming chaotic just all over the place. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be popping up as soon as I get a chance to publish them. So there's going to be no set schedule, but hopefully you guys enjoy this style of video. Again, let me know what you think about Gen.G in the comments below, and hopefully next time we'll catch you for the next one. Until then, hope you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.